Ever get that feeling like Netflix is? Like reading your mind. You're
Yeah.
scrolling and scrolling, and then bam, there it is. A suggestion so perfect, it's like spooky.
Aha. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Do they have a secret camera?
Maybe not a camera, but pretty close.
What is it then?
Recommendation systems. Super powerful algorithms analyzing tons of data, predicting what you want to watch next.
Netflix really is the king, huh?
Pretty much, yeah.
So how do we get from like that bookstore owner who knew what you liked to, these crazy digital systems?
Well, it all started with that human touch, right? The bookstore owner remembering what you like, giving suggestions. Then early internet days, we got systems like GroupLens recommending news
Oh
articles.
yeah, people who like this also liked Rush.
Yeah.
That's everywhere.
Exactly. But Amazon, they were really early with this. 1998, they started using item-based collaborative filtering.
Okay, what's up?
So instead of just looking at, similar users, it analyzes relationships between the items themselves. Like if you buy a certain book, the system knows other books that people who bought that book also bought.
Makes sense. Like, if you like that thriller, you'll love this mystery. Connecting the dots.
Exactly. Big breakthrough. But Netflix, they took it even further with the Netflix prize.
Oh yeah, the Netflix prize. $1 million for anyone who could make the recommendations just 10% better. Crazy.
It was huge. Over 40,000 teams all over the world. They got this massive data set of movie ratings, all anonymous, of course. Had to build an algorithm to predict what people would like better than Netflix could.
Intense. So who won? What was their secret?
This team, Belcore's Pragmatic Chaos, they won. They used, get this, over 100 different algorithms.
Wow.
One of the big ones was matrix factorization. Imagine all those movie ratings in a giant spreadsheet, right? This technique uses math to break it down and find connections, like between what you like and stuff like genre, mood, even the pacing of the movie.
So it's not just matching you with people who like similar stuff. It's deeper, figuring out why you like what you like.
Exactly. And here's the kicker. Netflix, they didn't even fully use the winning algorithm.
Why not? It won $1 million.
They realized, predicting ratings, it was just the start. They wanted to go deeper, understand what makes a viewer happy, not just guess what they'd rate highly.
Interesting. So what data do they use now? It can't just be those star ratings anymore.
You're right. Way beyond that now. They look at your viewing history, not just what you watched, but how much you watched, when you watched, even rewatches.
So binging a whole season versus like watching one episode a week, that tells them something.
You got it. They also look at your search history, what you're actively looking for, and get this, the device you're using. TV, phone, tablet, it all matters.
I guess that makes sense. You watch different things on your phone than you do on your TV.
Right. They're building this whole picture of your viewing habits like a detective, putting together the clues.
Time, location, and all that stuff.
Absolutely. Weekend watcher, weekday binger, country, region, all of it matters. And they don't use your social media directly, but they do use patterns from similar users.
So not just me, but like a whole web of people who like similar things.
Exactly. To give you a better, more personal experience, let's say there's a user, call her Alice, big sci-fi fan, watches Netflix on her TV, usually Friday nights. She tried some Korean films recently, but didn't really finish any.
Gotcha. So what would Netflix recommend for Alice?
Probably sci-fi shows for Friday nights on her TV. They might try some Korean sci-fi, mix it up a bit. Probably ease up on the Korean films since she didn't seem into them.
Makes sense. So they're constantly adjusting based on what you do.
And they might look at what other sci-fi fans, like Alice, are watching. Maybe there's a new show that's really popular with that group.
It's really personalized, huh? Like
Yeah.
having your own personal Netflix assistant. But is there a downside to that? Like, what about all this talk of filter bubbles?
You're on to something there. That is a concern.
I don't want to be stuck only seeing what I already like. I like to be surprised.
Exactly. And Netflix knows that. They've got some ways to deal with that.
Okay, I'm all ears. How do they keep things fresh?
Well, first, they try to add diversity to the recommendations. Stuff outside your usual genres, just to mix things up.
Like a friend who's always recommending new music you'd never think to listen to.
You got it. And they highlight new releases, even if it's not your usual thing. Keeps things interesting.
Oh yeah, those new releases, Rose. Always tempting.
Right. They also use context, like special occasions, seasonal trends.
Huh? You mean more rom-coms around Valentine's Day?
Exactly. And they're working on being more transparent, telling you why they're recommending something.
Oh, like because you watch Star Trek. I like that. Makes you feel more in control. Have you ever been surprised by a recommendation, something you ended up loving that you never would have found on your own?
Oh, definitely. It's one of the best parts, that feeling of discovery, like finding a hidden gem.
Exactly. And Netflix wants you to have that. They're always trying to balance that personal touch with keeping things exciting, showing you new stuff. So what's next for all this? What's the future of recommendations? AI.
The future is wild. AI and machine learning, they're going to take this to a whole new level.
Tell me more. What can we expect?
Think deep learning. AI analyzing not just genre, but visual style, plot structure, even the pacing and mood of a show.
So it's like the AI is really getting into the nitty-gritty of what makes a show tick.
Right. And then there's natural language processing, analyzing user reviews, online discussions, even social media to see what people are saying.
Not just star ratings, but actual opinions.
And then there's sentiment analysis, like your TV reading your emotions.
Wait, what? Like, my TV will know if I'm bored or scared.
Haha, maybe. It's still early, but think smart TVs with cameras analyzing your facial expressions.
It sounds a little creepy, honestly.
Yeah, there are definite privacy concerns.
Okay, but what about the good stuff? Any other cool AI stuff coming?
Cross-platform recommendations, integrating your activity from music, social media, even your browsing history.
So it's like all the digital pieces of you coming together to create the ultimate recommendation.
Pretty much. And then there's interactive recommendations, talking to an AI, telling it exactly what you want.
Ooh, like a personalized entertainment concierge. I like it. So much to think about. We've gone from that friendly bookstore owner to AI reading our emotions. It's mind-blowing.
And it makes you wonder, who's really in control? Are we choosing or are we being nudged?
That's a good question. A question for all of us to think about. But that's all the time we have for this part of our deep dive. Join us next time as we continue to explore this fascinating world of recommendation systems.
Makes you think, how much of what we see online is because of these algorithms?
Yeah, like this whole hidden world shaping our choices. It's not just Netflix either.
Oh, absolutely. Recommendation systems are everywhere now. Spotify, Apple Music.
Online shopping too. Amazon is scary good at knowing what I want.
Right. Using data to figure out what you need, what you want. Music, shoes, anything. Even social media like Facebook, TikTok.
Keep you scrolling. I always see those people you may know or ads for things I was just thinking about.
They're reading your digital trail, you
Yeah.
know? Likes, shares, searches. It all goes into the algorithm.
But it's not always a bad thing, is it? I mean, Spotify's recommendations have introduced me to some great new music.
For sure. When they work well, these systems can be amazing. Save you time, help you find new things, make the whole online experience better.
But what about when they don't work well? Like, what if they start pushing us toward stuff that's not good for us?
That's a valid concern. We need to be aware of that. As these systems get smarter, more powerful, it's important to understand them. What data are they using? Who's controlling them?
Transparency is key. We
Yeah.
need to be able to see behind the scenes, make informed decisions.
Exactly. Don't just accept everything blindly. Think about the motives, the biases that might be there.
Okay, so benefits, drawbacks, we've talked about that. But what about the bigger picture? How is this technology affecting society as a whole?
That's the big question, isn't it? Some people say it's fragmenting society, creating these echo chambers where you only see what you already agree with.
Everyone's stuck in their own little bubble.
And that can have serious consequences. Politics, social cohesion, even our understanding of the world.
Yeah, if everyone's living in their own reality, how can we even have a conversation?
Exactly. And it's not just politics. Recommendation systems can reinforce inequalities, biases too.
Wait, how?
Think about a job recommendation system. If it's trained on data that's biased, it might steer certain groups of people towards worse jobs just because that's what the data says.
Wow, I hadn't thought about that. The system is only as good as the data, right?
Right. We need to be aware of these biases, build systems that are fair and equitable. Diversity and inclusion are crucial.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential downsides. But are there ways to use this technology for good?
Absolutely. People are working on that right now, building systems that can make a positive impact.
Like what? What are some examples?
Health is a big one. Imagine an app that recommends personalized workouts or healthy recipes tailored to your needs.
Like having a personal trainer in your pocket.
Right. And it goes beyond individuals. Systems that connect you with volunteer opportunities, support local businesses, encourage civic engagement.
So instead of just consuming, it's about connecting, making a difference.
Exactly. Shifting the focus. Imagine these systems actually making our lives better, not just more entertaining.
I like that. Using technology to solve problems, bring people together.
It's gaining momentum. Researchers, developers, everyone's realizing we need to build these systems responsibly.
Balancing personalization with the greater good.
Right. So we've talked about a lot, the tech, the societal impact, but we haven't really touched on user agency. What can people do to take control?
Yeah, it's easy to feel powerless, like the algorithms are in charge.
But we're not powerless. We can be critical, question the recommendations, seek out different viewpoints.
You need to remember we have a choice.
Absolutely. We're not just consumers. We shape the digital world.
So how do we do that? What are some practical steps people can take to be more intentional?
That's a great question. Maybe a question for our next segment.
You're right, we've covered a lot of ground today. We'll be back after a short break with some tips for navigating the world of recommendations. Okay, we're back, ready to give you some tools to navigate this world of recommendations. Because, let's be real, they're not going anywhere.
Nope, they're here to stay.
Yeah.
And they're only getting more sophisticated, more embedded in everything we do.
So how do we take control instead of feeling controlled?
I like that, taking control. So first things first.
Be aware of the algorithm.
Exactly. Remember, those recommendations, they're not magic. There's a system behind them, crunching data, making guesses about what you like.
Like pulling back the curtain and seeing the wizard right.
Yeah. Once you see how it works, you can start to think about those suggestions differently.
Ask yourself, why am I seeing this? What data are they using? Is this really for me, or are they just trying to get me hooked?
Right. Be an active user, not just a passive one. Okay. Tip number 2, diversify.
Diversify our input, you mean?
Exactly. Don't just stick with what they're giving you. Explore different genres, different creators, different perspectives.
Step outside that comfort zone.
Yeah, like trying new foods. The more you explore, the more you learn, and the better those recommendations get.
It's like the more you tell the algorithm, the better it knows you.
And the more interesting stuff it can show you. Okay, tip number 3, ratings and reviews.
Oh yeah, those little stars. Do they really matter?
More than you think. It's feedback for the system, helps it understand what you like, what you don't.
So if you love something, give it 5 stars. If you
Yeah.
hate it, give it 1 star.
Be honest, it makes the whole system better for everyone.
Okay, good to know. What else?
Settings. Yeah, most of these platforms, they give you options
Mhm.
to customize things, genres you like, stuff you want to block, how much personalization you want.
Oh, I never really look at those.
Check them out. You might be surprised how much you can control. And finally, don't forget.
The human element.
Yep. It's easy to think it's all algorithms and data, but real people build these systems.
So if you have a problem, if something's not working, you can actually contact them.
Absolutely. Leave feedback. Most platforms have ways to do that. Your input matters. It can help shape the future of these systems.
So there you have it. 5 tips to take back control of your recommendations.
Be aware, diversify, rate and review, check your settings, and remember the humans behind it all.
We've covered a lot of ground today. From the inner workings of these systems to, the bigger questions about society, about our choices.
It's a fascinating topic, and it's constantly evolving.
Absolutely. But for now, we have to wrap things up. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of recommendation systems.
Always a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.